the attack. What happened and why were you attacked?
It was an attack on a school. What happened was that we were in an assembly, we were studying in a school, and the terrorists came in and started shooting children mercilessly. Children were slaughtered, some children were burned, some teachers were burnt alive.
Yours was?
Yes, my teacher was burnt alive right in front of my eyes, which is an unimaginable thing to imagine for 14 years old. My friends were being killed right in front of my eyes. They were
How did you survive then, Nawaz?
Yes, that's a good question. I asked myself that exact question after the incident. How did I survive? This was just a miracle, surviving what happened in that school.
You were shot?
Yes. So I was shot in that attack. So when the terrorists came, they were shooting everyone in their heads so that no one survives. When they came to me, I just jumped to a side and I got shot in my upper arm. They thought I was dead because it was bleeding a lot, and my white shirt was full of blood and it was red, so they thought I was dead, so they just moved on to another person. I was in there for about 2 or 3 more hours in that school. The terrorists were just killing students. I mean, you cannot imagine how inhumane it is for a bunch of armed people to go and kill innocent, unarmed children.
Why does the Taliban kill youngsters like you?
That is a very good question, because in that time, what they were trying to do was discourage young people from going to school. They were trying to discourage the parents from sending their children to school. Why is that? Because the terrorists are trying to brainwash people in that part of the world. And then if these people educate themselves, it's very hard for them to brainwash them. And an educated person cannot really be brainwashed very easily. So they were trying to attack the roots. They were trying to attack our education because they knew that this is where our strength lies. If we educate our younger generation, that our society will be more stronger and will be less vulnerable to being radicalized. So they targeted our school, and they were quite successful in the start in discouraging people from sending their children to school. I remember my own uncle saying that he doesn't want his children to go to school and be slaughtered there mercilessly. But I think if we do that, and if we not send them to school, that is just, we give in to these extremists, and that's not what we want. We want to stand up to them, and we want to fight them. And how we do that is by encouraging education even more in those areas where they attack us. So this is one of the reasons that I'm focusing more on education, because extremists and the terrorists now know that this is where our strength lies, and this is where they should attack. So now we know as well that where we need to focus. We need to focus on the education of our younger generation, and we need to encourage our younger generation to speak out and take more action and play more active role in the society.
While you were speaking with the Portuguese youngsters, you are not only telling your life experience, you are sharing your own humanity, and you are telling them how in that morning you had to convince your younger brother to go to school. You want to share with us that?
Yes, so my younger brother Haris, he was a best friend of mine. He was just 1 year younger. I mean, you can imagine siblings 1 year apart have a lot of fights, have a lot of loves and a good time together. And the morning of that attack, I told him that I was trying to wake him up for school. And it was very strange of him to say that he doesn't want to go to school. And I asked him why, and he said, I just don't feel like going to school today. And I was like, you can't do that. Our parents would be angry if you don't go to school. Our parents were really good in the sense that they wanted us to focus on our education, because our parents themselves were educated and they knew the importance of it. So I told my brother to let's go, and he wasn't really happy with it, but he came anyways. And when he was killed in that attack, that still pops up in my mind every time I remember him. His words when he said that he didn't want to go, but I pushed him, and I just...
You feel guilty?
I mean, I don't really feel guilty now, because I think it was, we didn't expect anything like that to happen. No one could have ever imagined such a horrible incident in a school. But yes, as a brother, I mean, I shouldn't have dragged him to school. But I think I played my responsibility. I did my role in as an older brother, taking my brother to school, and that's what I was supposed to do, and that's what I did.
You are healing your wound, sharing love and spreading knowledge around the world, motivating the youngsters. Is that it?
Yes. The main wounds that I had after the incident weren't the physical ones, really. They were the mental ones, the trauma that me and my family were going through, because this is a very hard thing to forget. So after that incident, I decided that now, after this incident happened, my brother was killed, now I will do something. I will do some campaigns that no one ever loses their brother, their sister, or their parents, or their children, so that this kind of suffering, so that no one else in this world suffers through the same things ever again.
You want to break that cycle of violence?
Yes. Yes. And to break that cycle, once again, I come back to my point that we need to educate people to break the cycle of this extremism and then radicalization and then brainwash people and then passing down to the next generations. We need to educate the younger generation now, so that the ideology doesn't go any further, so that it stops there, and our future generation have a better world to live in.